Hey, I thought I might make this quick video for my Latin 1 students right now. So this is definitely for Latin 1, although nobody would be hurt by watching this video if you're in an upper level class or if you're, some random person who has stumbled onto my YouTube channel somehow. Don't know why that would happen, but if it did, I'm going to talk about inflection, all right? Now, it might seem a little late to the game when I've been making kind of a lot of videos about Latin grammar and I'm only just now making one explaining what inflection means. But I was looking back and I don't have a video that is only on this topic. Obviously, a lot of other videos overlap with this topic, but I don't have one that is only about this. And, I've got some Latin ones right now who could probably benefit from having a video kind of reviewing what we talked about, in class, but, like through cameras and awkwardly. So I thought I might just go ahead and make this so that if they need to review it, they can. If anybody needs to remember what inflection is, here you go. Here's your video about inflection. And the reason why I would make a video about inflection is because Latin is an inflective language, and you do need to know what that means if you want to be able to understand the language. It's inflective, all right? When English speakers hear the word inflective, they tend to think that it has something to do with like a tone of voice or something. It doesn't, all right? We do sometimes use that word that way, but when we're talking about inflection linguistically, we're talking about something else. So, and that is something that English doesn't have, all right? So what I mean here is that in Latin, you have two parts to the vast majority of words. There is the bit of the word that means semantically whatever the word means, that is like the definition that you would look up in a dictionary. And then there's an ending on that word that determines how you use the word in a sentence. You'll hear me talk a lot about this in later videos as I get into very specific endings and what that ending means. Here I'm not going to get into what any individual endings mean, but just know that there are endings. And for example, like if I were talking about the English word book, right? Like there's really only like two ways you write book. You write book or you write books, right? So we do sort of have an ending here that makes it plural, but there's no other way to like adjust this word. It's either book or books, and it doesn't matter if you want this word to be the subject or the object or an indirect object. It doesn't really matter. It's just going to be book, and anything else that you know about this word in terms of how to use it in a sentence is going to be determined by maybe using it with a prepositional phrase or the order that you've placed it in the sentence. That's how we get that meaning. Whereas in Latin, that's not the case. There are actually a lot of endings it can have. This is not all of them. This is just some of them. I just wrote some of them up here at random. This is all the same word. Some of these forms are singular, some are plural, but it's literally the word book. And you can see there's a stem that is the part that means book, and that doesn't really change. But the bits at the end are all different. Liber, libri, librum, libros, librorum. Yes, I'm going to leave that mumble in there. I'm not going to refilm. All of these different endings, they all mean book, but they tell you to use it in different ways in the sentence. Without getting into the particulars of how that is, that's what I mean by inflection. The inflection is the ending that adds meaning in addition to just the fact that it means book or, whatever the noun happens to mean. So, check out this English sentence. Leia choose books, all right? Totally understandable English sentence, a real simple English sentence. There's nothing real challenging about this. If I say Leia choose books, you know that there is some character named Leia. This is one of my cats. Again, if you're starting here and then watching others of my videos later, the cats are going to come up a lot. But yeah, so Leia would be the subject. She's doing something, and then we have an object, books. Leia chooses books. If I try to reorder this, it's going to start to lose the sense of what it means. Because English is not inflective, I know what this means because of the order it's in. I put my subject up front, then I get a verb, then I get an object. Totally logical. But if I start moving these things around in other orders, it's not going to sound right. Books Leia choose, it sounds kind of Yoda-y. Somebody who heard me say something like that might understand me, but they might not understand me. The meaning becomes unclear. Or like books choose Leia. I mean, I have heard kind of archaic English sentences that are sometimes phrased like that, but they throw you off guard. And it can be even worse. I mean, choose Leia books. That is just plain gibberish. It doesn't actually mean anything. Even though these are all assemblages of the same words, moving them around messes it up. And if you walk up to, any given English speaker and say choose Leia books, I mean, they might wonder if you had a stroke or something. Like they're either just not going to understand you, or even if they can guess at what you mean, certainly they're going to think there's something wrong with what you're saying, because that is incorrect, right? If you want it to be correct and clear, it needs to be in this form. Leia, choose books. The order of the words is part of the meaning. In Latin, it's not. Now, I'm not saying that word order never matters in Latin. It can, all right? There are things that matter here, but you can be flexible with the word order without technically changing what it actually says. So here I've written the same sentence, but in Latin. Leia, choose books. All right? And I know that, if you are in Latin 1 and you're seeing this for the first time, you're not going to understand the context of all these endings. That's fine. Don't worry about that detail. But just know that this means Leia, choose books. And I've written it in the exact same order as this. But, funny thing about it is not all languages put their words in the same order as English. And in fact, while you could put the sentence in this order, that's actually not the typical one. Usually, a Roman would be more likely to say this. It still says Leia choose books, but the choose has moved to the end. But the most crucial bit is that Leia still looks like Leia, choose still looks like choose. So haven't done this in a while, having a hard time placing my hand. And then books still looks the same over here. And because all of these words are spelled the same way, even if I change the order, I don't actually change the meaning. I mean, look, I have 2 more examples up here. All the words are spelled the same way. And so it doesn't matter. Even if I do something really weird, like put the verb up front, mandit, right? It still means Leia choose books. And the reason being is because this spelling of Leia, no matter where it is in the sentence, is the form that is the subject form. So no matter where it is in there, I know that it's the subject and she's the one doing the chewing. And this spelling of books, again, no matter where it is, even if it's up at the front of the sentence, is the spelling of books that makes it the direct object. So I know it is the thing that is being chewed, right? And so it doesn't matter which one of any of these, sentences written in brown that you see, they all mean Leia choose books, because there is the stem of each word that gives it its semantic meaning, and then there are the endings that tell you that it's a subject, a verb, and a direct object. And so, for example, this blue sentence, which you'll see is written in the exact same order as the original brown sentence, does not mean the same thing. And even though Leia is still in the same spot as Leia, and choose is still in the same spot as choose, and books is in the same spot as books, they are no longer spelt the same way. And because of that, this blue sentence actually does mean something else. This sentence now means that books chew Leia. And so this is just a bit about inflection. What I hope you take away from this is that inflective languages are ones where the word order is not as important as the word ending in terms of understanding what the sentence is actually trying to say. And if this seems kind of weird and confusing, and you're thinking my anglophonic brain is not ready for this, don't panic. This is the beginning of the semester. You don't have to understand all of the details of it right now, because that's actually literally what we're going to spend the whole rest of the semester learning about. So there you go. There's your quick introduction to inflection. Now I'm going to hurry on home, because it's about to snow and school is canceled tomorrow. If you're watching this in the future and that has no context, apologies. But for the meantime, I'm going to hurry home. Bye, guys.